On this episode of Carver In Focus, Carver celebrates as we highlight the Carver High School graduation for the class of 2012. In this half hour, we will be speaking to Carver High School Principal Scott Knief, the Senior Class Advisor, Sonya Lomax, along with the Salutatorian and Valedictorian from the class of 2012, Andrew Larissy and Audrey Hildebrandt. We also have an opportunity to visit the Pink Cadillac studio co-owner, Kim Dawes, in this, our inaugural edition of Carver In Focus. So join us, won't you? Hello, and welcome to the first edition of Carver In Focus. I am Gina Hanlon-Kavicki, and I will be your host. Carver In Focus is a magazine program that is designed to bring you, the residents of Carver, a unique, focused look at the people, community, events, and traditions that make Carver the wonderfully eclectic town that it is. Over the next several episodes, we will be bringing you an up-close and in-focus view of Old Home Day, the Farmers Market, King Richard's Fair, and Edaville Railroad, along with a snapshot of other events and happenings going on in our town. But today's episode is devoted to the graduating class of 2012, who on Sunday, June 3rd, held their commencement exercises, concluding a year of noteworthy events and achievements. Carver In Focus caught up with Senior Class Advisor Sonya Lomax, who filled us in on this year's senior activities. Welcome back. I'm here with Sonya Lomax, the Senior Class Advisor. How are you, Sonya?
Very well, thank you.
Great. Tell me, how long have you been the Senior Class Advisor?
I've been the Senior Class Advisor for 7 years.
Okay. And what are the responsibilities being the Senior Class Advisor?
I basically help them plan all of their activities throughout the year, their community services, their fundraisers, and all their senior events.
Can you tell me something about the senior class trip? What was that like this year?
That was really a lot of fun. The kids were really great. It's a 4-day, 3-night trip to Walt Disney World that we do in the end of April. I'm actually meeting with the junior class tomorrow to plan for next year's trip. We fly down on a Thursday morning. They have a 3-day hopper pass to all the parks. We go into the water park for 1 day, and then the big event is at Universal Studios. They shut it down from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. for just seniors. So they have a really good time, and the kids that can't go on that, they plan their own trip. Sometimes it's to Six Flags. This year it was to the zoo and to Providence Place.
Okay. And can you tell me a little bit about Senior Week?
Yep, Senior Week is the week before graduation. It starts on Tuesday after Memorial Day with Class Day. It's an all-school assembly in the auditorium where awards and recognitions are given to the seniors. It's followed by a luncheon outside where they get the yearbooks and they get to sign all their yearbooks. Then Wednesday we have convocation, and Thursday is a dinner dance at the Montponset Inn in Halifax. It's just for seniors, so they enjoy a dinner and then they have a last hurrah and dance, and then Sunday's graduation.
What is the convocation dinner ceremony?
Convocation ceremony, it starts with a buffet dinner where all the parents bring in a dish and the teachers and faculty serve the students and their parents, and it's followed by the awards ceremony where all scholarships and awards are given to the seniors.
Oh, excellent. And what are some of the other senior class events that occur?
We actually have a major event just about every month. In September we start off the year by going to Boston. We do the duck tour boats where they get some history of Boston, and then they have some time in Faneuil Hall for lunch and shopping. In October, we do the homecoming weekend, and so the dance is our responsibility, and that's one of our big fundraisers. In November, we do a blood drive for the Red Cross. In January, we do a 24-hour lock-in where the seniors are locked into the school from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. with a lot of events going on that night. And then in March, we have our senior show, which is a talent-type show where the seniors put it on. And then in April, we have the class trips, and in May, we have graduation week.
Well, you certainly stay busy. Excellent.
Very much so.
Well, thank you, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and fill us in on seniors and Senior Week.
Well, thank you for having me.
Taking a picture based, it's all based on what we just did.
Make cannons and cannonballs for the Revolutionary War.
And
They're in
Murray
Carver.
Yeah.
Red Sox. All right, let's continue with more. Let's go to one of those interviews here from Al Lang Stadium.
New breeds that are out there now have a capacity to do all sorts of things that you wouldn't have imagined.
Continuing on today's theme, as Carver celebrates the class of 2012, we here at Carver In Focus were lucky enough to track down the always very busy principal of the Carver Middle High School, Scott Knief, who had this to tell us about the graduation season, his favorite part of the school year. I'm with Scott Knief, principal of the Carver Middle High School. Scott, we'd like to ask you a few questions today. Can you explain the NEASC evaluation process, or could you explain NEASC and explain how it affects the middle high school?
NEASC is the New England Association of Schools and Colleges, and they've established standards in 7 areas. And these standards are research-based in terms of what's good practice in education. Those areas are what they call core values and beliefs, instruction, curriculum, assessment, school leadership, community resources for learning, and school resources for learning. And what happens as part of the NEASC process is we go through a self-study, and we as ourselves as the school evaluate how we do against the standards. And then NEASC sends out a visiting committee made up of 15 members, and they spend 4 days in the school from Sunday until Wednesday, and then they do, in essence, they do an assessment of our self-study. Do they agree with how we rate ourselves against the standard? And then based on the 4-day visit, they give us some commendations in which areas they feel like we meet the standards really well, or they give us some recommendations on where we need to improve as a school to meet the standards. And going through the NEASC process gives us what's called school accreditation.
Okay.
And colleges are looking for high schools to be accredited, because what that means is your school meets an established set of standards, those NEASC standards. So the accreditation process is very, very important, because it really says to other parts of the community, including colleges, that we do meet these set of standards established by NEASC. So this actually happens every 10 years.
Have we been accredited before?
We have.
Excellent.
So Carver Middle High School has been accredited since it was opened. Its first accreditation visit was in 1992, and then school opened in 1988. First was in 1992, then there was one in 2002, and this was our 3rd one we've gone through in 2012. So it's a 10-year cycle, and there's other steps along the way that we don't necessarily have to go through, but it's really a 10-year cycle process where they come out and do the evaluation. So at the beginning of the fall, in September or October, we'll get a statement back from them whether we've maintained accreditation, which I think we will maintain accreditation, and then we'll also get some very specific commendations, recommendations. And obviously the value of this is we ourselves went through a process of how do we rank up against this established set of standards. And then they're also going to give us a very clear blueprint for improvement. They're going to give us very specific recommendations of, to be a better school, you should do these things. If I can give you one example.
Sure, that'd be great.
If we go back to the last evaluation we had in 2002, one of the recommendations from NEASC was that we didn't have enough elective offerings that they viewed as giving students some real life experiences. Okay. So they said we needed to create some more elective offerings for juniors and seniors with real life experiences. What came from that recommendation in 2002 was the establishment of an internship program that we have in the building for seniors, in which students work both in the building and in the community, a whole range of businesses in the community. And that gives them some real world practical experience. And that came directly from a recommendation of the 2002 NEASC visit. And I'm sure the same things will happen over the next 5-10 years as we'll look at the recommendations they give us. And you actually are supposed to make changes based on the recommendation within 5 years and report back to them. whether you've completed the recommendation or not. So ultimately, the process, the purpose of it, is for us to become a better school for all students. And that's our goal, and that's why I went through the process.
That's an excellent goal. Based on your NEASC self-study, what would you identify as some of the strengths and areas which need improvement within the school?
So, as part of the self-study process, we actually created strengths and needs for each one of the standards. And I don't think it makes sense for me to go through all of them right now, but I've highlighted some key ones. And we'll find out in October if the committee agreed with us. But some of our strengths, I think you'll find, is I do think our teachers' instructional practices in the classroom are a strength of the building. And I think the committee will also find that came out. I do think the support of the community of this school will be identified as a strength. I know there are some concerns about financial resources, but long-term, looking at the big picture, I think the community, the parents have been very supportive of this school system. I think that you're going to see, and the chair of the visiting committee talked about this a little bit. She met with the staff on the last day of the visit. They gave us a very generic overview. But in that overview, she talked about the students' pride in the school, that they felt while they were here for the 4 days, the students exhibited a lot of pride in the school. And they really felt that the student behaviors were very respectful and positive. So I think those are some of the key strengths that will come out.
Excellent. For you, what is the most exciting part about graduation this season? And what do you look forward to most during this time of year?
You know, we just have a lot of outstanding events for our seniors coming down the stretch here, from class day to convocation, which is our awards night, which is on Wednesday, June 30th, to our senior dinner dance, to the graduation ceremony itself. But I personally look forward most to graduation. I think the ceremony, I like the fact that we do it inside. We have a big enough auditorium, and we're a small enough school that we can have it inside, and I think that makes it a little bit more dignified sometimes. Sometimes some of the outside graduations get, it's just harder for everyone to follow.
Sure.
It's a bigger space, the sound's more difficult.
Sure.
And
Lot to manage.
And all of our families can get at least 5 tickets to graduation when we're inside, and I think it's just a real positive event. So the event that I look forward to the most and that I personally enjoy the most is graduation, seeing the students go across the stage, hearing their parents cheer for them, seeing them receive their diploma, which you did last year.
Yes.
You shook their hands as they
Yes, I
received their
did.
diploma.
It was a wonderful
I think it
experience.
was a really positive experience.
Absolutely. One last question. What impresses you the most about the senior class?
You know, this senior class I think they've really come together, and they have just a really positive attitude as a group. You know, I think actually early on in their careers in the building, there was a little bit, there was some factions within the group, and I think we've really come to see them come together and to unite, and just tremendous positive atmosphere, tremendous positive attitude from this group, and some really strong students. I mean, so we've had some students accepted at some wide range of schools. So I think it's been a great senior class, and they've come together real well, and they're just a really solid, nice group of kids as a whole.
Excellent. I think that's great. I would like to thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy day to be with us today.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. While we all love the rural character of Carver, we also realize the need and importance of local business. One such business is the Pink Cadillac Studio. Earlier this week, Carver In Focus got the chance to sit down and chat with co-owner Kimberly Dawes. Kim, thank you so much for having me here today.
You're welcome, Gina.
What is the Pink Cadillac Studio?
Well, the Pink Cadillac Studio is a great place for women, actually, any kind of woman. We have 3 Mary Kay independent sales directors that work out of this studio, and we meet here Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursday evenings, where we train all of our independent beauty consultants. About 100 women come through this door each week, whether they're getting their training or they come here to be pampered.
Excellent, excellent. What is Mary Kay Cosmetics' philosophy, and what makes it different than any other direct selling company?
Mary Kay Ash was an actual woman that started Mary Kay Cosmetics 50 years ago with $5,000 and just a big dream in her heart. She had worked for other direct selling companies before, And her philosophy, her life philosophy, was faith, family, then career. She felt that if those three things were in order, that a woman could accomplish anything in her life. She also felt living by the golden rule was so super important, which obviously even our children know. Living by the golden rule is treating others as they would want to be treated. I really believe that over any other direct selling company, we have the best business plan, the highest compensation package, and the highest ethics out of any.
Great. What made you decide to start your own Mary Kay Cosmetics, and why should others try it?
It's really funny that you asked me that, Gina, because I actually started for the discount. I was working in corporate America, and I had tried the line with someone that had met me in the grocery store, and I felt like, why not sign on? It was a really awesome discount, and then for me, I ended up having my first child, and I thought, why not take this career to a new level and not have to go into the city anymore?
Well, you went from the grocery store to the pink Cadillac, and I've seen you buzzing around through town in your pink Cadillac. What is significant about the pink Cadillac, and is it truly free?
That's a great question. A lot of people ask me that all the time, and they think I must work crazy hours to be in that Cadillac. The pink Cadillac is truly a free car. However, there was a lot of hard work and determination that went behind that car. It's when you are a sales director in Mary Kay, you actually can earn that car with sales of about $96,000 in 2 quarters. And we actually have 2 pink Cadillac drivers here in Carver now, myself and one of the newest sales directors, Renee Weston. We also have 2 additional free car drivers in Carver. They are Chevy Malibus, and they happen to be white, but both the women took the cash compensation that Mary Kay allows.
What would you like others in the community to know about the Pink Cadillac Studio and Mary Kay Cosmetics?
I think that women and people in the community should know that we're a great place for you to come and visit. We're a warm, wonderful group of women from all different backgrounds. If you haven't tried our cosmetic line or our skincare, whether it be our Time-Wise Anti-Aging or our new Botanicals skincare that's made for super sensitive skin, come and try us. We have a 100% buyback guarantee if you're not satisfied. And I think what you'll find is it's more than just selling lipstick. It's really about feeling good, making women feel good. And wouldn't you agree, Gina, when you feel good on the outside, you feel great on the inside.
Feeling good is wonderful, and it definitely puts a smile on your face.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for having us here today, Kim.
Thank you, Gina. Thanks for coming, and come back and visit us.
Absolutely. Next up, we finish today's episode as we began it, celebrating the class of 2012 by speaking to 2 of its shining members, Valedictorian Andrew Laracy and Salutatorian Audrey Hildebrandt. And so without further ado, I'd like to welcome the valedictorian from the class of 2012, Mr. Andrew Laracy. Andrew, thank you for coming to the show. How are you today?
Wonderful, thank you.
What was your favorite subject in high school and why?
My favorite subject in high school was calculus, and I picked calculus because that class really pushed learning higher level thinking, because they'd give you a problem and you're not only supposed to solve it in a way they show you, but you have to think about different ways you can solve it. So you have to go through several steps of evaluative thinking before you can even begin doing the algebra and the math to do it out.
Very good. What drove you to study and work as hard as you did, and what was your motivation?
I would probably say that competition between my sister and I definitely drove me a little bit. Her being valedictorian before me, I definitely had some shoes to fill. But other than that, I really wanted to be a doctor throughout most of high school, and I knew the way to get there was definitely good marks and studying hard.
Very good. Well, I see it runs in the family.
Oh, yes, it does.
What do you do for work?
I work at a car dealership. I work at DeSantis Chevrolet in Brockton. I work there as a mechanic and a warranty administrator, so there I learn a lot of that higher evaluative thinking as well.
Excellent. I've heard that your valedictorian bowl is actually smaller than your sister's. First off, is that true, and why?
It is true. Hers is about like this big, and mine's this big, so she has some bragging rights over me there. But I think it would be evidence of the economic climate we're in.
Okay.
Seeing that they downsized on the bowls.
Well, Andrew, you were accepted to many colleges, but yet you chose Harvard. Why did you choose Harvard over your other options?
I chose Harvard over my other options because it had 3 things I was really looking for. 1, it could offer me more than any other college, mostly because they have the most amount of money and the best professors. 2, I really like the campus, being in the heart of Boston. It's a great place to be. And 3, I really enjoyed the kids there. They were all really motivated and highly passionate people.
Excellent. Well, Andrew, thank you for joining us today, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Audrey, thank you for being here today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Audrey, what was your experience like at Carver High School?
I had a great time at Carver High School. I feel like I got the most out of it that I could, and maybe some of my friends won't agree with me, but I feel like it's the best place that I could have been, and you really have to make the most out of what you have, and I had a lot of great friends to help me with that.
Excellent. Was it difficult to maintain your GPA?
At first, I didn't know what my GPA was. I didn't know my rank or anything, and as the years went on, I started finding out where I was in the lineup, and it started getting a little competitive, and it pushed me to do my best and go above and beyond what I usually would have just settled for. And I had a great time doing it. It was challenging, but it wasn't too difficult for me.
How involved were you in school, and what extracurricular activities were you involved in?
I was pretty involved in school. I was in the last two musicals, and so I would stay after pretty late every day to practice and rehearse. I was president of the National Honor Society, and the year before I was a member, and it was pretty active all around school. I was in student council up until senior year, and what else was I in? Peer mediators, peer helpers.
Well, you've certainly stayed busy.
Yes.
Do you wish you could have done anything differently during your time at Carver High School?
I wish that I could have spread the day out more and made it longer, more than 6 periods a day, because there were a lot of courses that I wanted to take, more electives, and I took all the classes that I needed to take and what I wanted to take, but I wanted a few fun classes in there, like culinary and art and maybe web design. So I wish I could have taken those, but I liked what I did.
Well, Audrey, you have a real passion for learning. What school are you going to next year, and why did you choose that school?
I'm going to Mount Holyoke College next year, and originally it wasn't even on my radar. My mom put it on our college list and said, just look at it. I know it's an all-girls school. You're not going to want anything to do with it. So we went out and we visited the 5 colleges up in that area, and it was the last college on the last day of our trip, and my sister and I were just not feeling it. We did not want to go, and it wasn't even an option then, and so my mom said we should just walk around the campus and see how you feel about it. And so I walked around, and it was absolutely beautiful. The environment was just so comforting, and everyone was so well-spoken and so nice and genuinely excited to learn, and I just can't wait to be there.
Well, it must have been mother's intuition. She must have known you would be happy there.
I guess.
You have a very bright future ahead of you, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank Audrey and all of our guests today for appearing on the show. We also like to thank all of our sponsors, without whom the show would not be possible. We'll close out today with some of the sights and sounds from the Carver High School graduation. For all the staff and crew of CCAT, I am Gina Hanlon-Kavicki. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again soon on Carver In Focus.